This is Sarah Murray, Business and Crop Online Editor for Top Producer, visiting with Tim Chrislip of CHS Crop Nutrients. Tim, why don't you give us an update of what's kind of going on with the Russia gas supply situation?
Well, it's a continuing saga as for the last year, on and off, Russia and Ukraine have argued about gas pricing, whether Ukraine has paid all the bills they're supposed to pay. And most recently, Russia has implied that some of the gas that they send into the Ukraine and the pipeline that feeds a part of the gas to Central and Western Europe goes through the Ukraine, that part of that gas is being diverted and is not getting to the European customers where it's supposed to go. So it's sort of escalated now to the point where Mr. Putin has instructed Gazprom to shut down the shipment of gas to the Ukraine and has severely reduced the gas supply that would have gone on through and on into Europe. So a more difficult situation than we've had in the past. This has put many of the Central and Eastern European countries in a problem situation in terms of gas supply, particularly as the winter's cold. Some it's more critical than others, but one of the things that will be a result is some of the nitrogen production in certain countries has already been shut down due to the reduced gas supplies. And while the Ukraine urea production is still running, they don't have sufficient gas stored in the Ukraine to run it for very long. So it looks like it could very easily shut down additional urea capacity in the world at a time when urea stocks are going to need to be built up before the spring season. So it certainly could have a impact on supply availabilities for spring.
Right, and so this is definitely affecting a lot of European countries. Looking closer to home, how could that affect U.S. supplies for your company and for farmers who are looking to purchase in the spring?
Well, you've got two sets of urea production in Central and Eastern Europe. Some of it is for domestic consumption. When those plants go down, that means that urea demand is still there. It needs to come from somewhere else. So then they have to reach out into the traded import-export market to get their tons. The other shutdowns come in export-oriented plants, like in the Ukraine, where most of their production does go into the export market, so it reduces export availabilities. And what it means is they've got to find that urea somewhere else. One of the opportunities will be from China. China does have some excess capacity, but at today's urea prices, they can't produce at that level. So it looks like we'll get some upward pressure on prices far enough at least to get China into the game in terms of exports, because these tons will have to come from the export-import marketplace, those that aren't being produced domestically and those that Ukraine may stop producing for the export market. I think the overall balance of urea in terms of the U.S., when we look at where we are this year compared to last year, we are short in terms of the urea we had available imports and production last year versus this year. So we do need to attract some additional urea tons. If this Russian gas dispute continues, it will simply put more upward pressure on prices. So it looks like urea prices could move up, and supplies could be pretty tight as we go into spring. We can't predict just another uncertainty out there. I think the big thing is the growers need to look to their dealers to make sure they understand where their nitrogen's coming from that they're going to need this coming spring.
For Top Producer Radio, this is Sarah Murray.